This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Howdy, everyone. I never said howdy before. It just kind of came out. Howdy. I'm John Solberg. I'm the host of the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less, and I'm super glad that you are listeners of this show. I'm also super glad that this episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought-after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets, and as always, they're handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop is retailing the finest meats for more than 15 years, and every week they're shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Even if you're not a competitor, you deserve the finer cuts. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of the cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has life-changing Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, it's always handpicked just for you. Let's review the best competition briskets. Check. The best pork selection. Yes. Giving you better overall options to cook at home. Absolutely. So you give the Butcher Shop a call today, 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Be sure to mention the BBQ Central Show. They're giving you 10% off your entire order each and every time you call. Also, go check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets. And let's jump in back to a little conversation back from the glory days of competition barbecue.
That's fine, because we have, from Iowa Smokey D's, Darren Warth. Darren, apologize for the technical difficulties. How are you tonight?
Not a problem, Greg, at all. Yeah, I kept getting a busy signal.
Yeah. Well, we had some issues with online, offline. The beauty of internet radio is that once you lose a connection, everything goes right down the crapper. So apologize for that, and let's go ahead and get into the meat of the conversation. I was hoping to get Steve, too, from I Smell Smoke. Darren, of course, is from Iowa Smokey D's. He's the pitmaster there, currently ranked number 2 in the KCBS for Team of the Year points race, and he is headed down to the Tempe Q and Brew Festival December 4th, put on by AZ Barbecue and the folks down there at azbarbecue.com. So, Darren, first of all, for the teams, or not for the teams, but for the people that might not be familiar with you guys and Iowa Smokey D's, can you give us a little brief background about you and how you got into competition barbecue?
Well, our competition barbecue career started out with really deer sausage. We were looking out. We were big deer hunters here in Iowa, and one year back in 2002, I decided, I sent my deer into the locker to be processed in a $1,200 bill, and I said, I ought to be able to do that myself. So I started, I'm going to buy a smoker, and I'm going to get into smoking deer sausage and cut that bill down. Well, that led me into competition barbecue, which led us to, in 2002, a visit to the American Royal and instant addiction.
Did you do very well at that competition?
What's that?
Did you do very well at that competition?
We actually hadn't even started competing. We just went and hung out and just met different people around there. Went home, said, this is something we got to do. Got on the phone, ordered a pit out of Houston, Texas. We really didn't start competing until about May of 2003. Went to our first competition in Sedalia, Missouri. Ended up having 4 inches of rain overnight, hail, and an 85-mile-an-hour downburst that took our brand-new Easy Ups and melded them to our new pit at 6 o'clock in the morning. Needless to say, we turned in our stuff. We got 2 ribbons, and I always say, all it takes is a ribbon, and $100,000 later, you're in the business.
Yeah, it seems like for the people that get in there, if they do very well right off the top, that really seems to have the bug that's bit them, and bang, they're right in competition barbecue. Now, focusing more, I guess, on this year. Well, first of all, what are you cooking on right now?
Right now, I cook on a combination. I've been cooking on some 22-inch Weber Smoky Mountains along with an FEC 100 I got in the trailer, too.
All right. And how many competitions have you cooked this year in 2009?
This year, I think we were up to 23 competitions, which is about normal for us.
So prior to this year, I mean, you're currently ranked number 2. Obviously, well, we'll see how everything unfolds here over the course of the weekend. But prior to this year, what was your best Team of the Year finish?
Our best Team of the Year finish, the best we've ever done, in 2004 and 2006, we finished 6th in the KCBS. In 2005, we hit 7th. 2007, we had kind of an off year and hit 13th. In 2008, we hit 9th. So we've always been there in the top 10, just never been up this high.
So did you anticipate such a, well, I guess what ends up being such a close race here in 2009?
I didn't. Rod Gray from Pellet Envy back in July started telling me, you're in the best position to win Team of the Year. And I said, what are you, crazy? I'm not even looking at Team of the Year. And he was giving me all kinds of crap saying, oh, you got a spreadsheet just like I do. And I'm going,
But evidently,
Hi, Greg.
Oh, hey, there's Steve. All right, so now we have Steve Farrin from Iowa Smokey Smoke. Sorry about the complications there, Steve. We have Darren Warth from Iowa Smokey D's on as well, and Darren was just kind of going over. I was asking him if he anticipated such a close race here in 2009. So, Darren, why don't you go ahead and finish up that thought? I apologize.
Well, yeah, no, we were talking, like I said, Rod Gray had said that we were in the best position back in July to win Team of the Year, and I just kind of told him it was crazy and blew it off. And as the Team of the Year progressed, we moved up in the rankings, but then I was pretty much done with the season. We got to the Royal and the Jack, and I was pretty much done, and my wife was like, oh, you need to push on. I said, well, let's just see what these guys do in Talladega, and let's see what happens, and I kept kind of putting it off, just thinking that maybe one of these guys was going to rise to the top and I could just have the rest of the year off. And we were in the middle of opening a new barbecue restaurant, so the timing really wasn't any good anyway. But then, when Steve went up and actually moved up in the rankings, there was just a lot of coercion from my wife saying, you need to get back in this race. So we got back in the race, and here we are.
Talking with Darren Warth from Iowa Smokey D's, currently ranked number 2, Team of the Year, KCBS, and Steve Farrin joins us from I Smell Smoke. Steve, let me back up for a second and just get a little brief background on you, how you got into competition barbecue, what you're cooking on, and then maybe what your best Team of the Year finishes were prior to this year.
About 14 years ago, some friends of mine were competing. They sucked me into it, and I got in pretty deep. Now I own a pretty nice trailer, a backwoods smoker, and an FE 100. My best placing in the KCBS, overall, I'm not sure. We've been 9th in pork in the past. This year we've cooked a lot more contests.
How many have you cooked? Do you have an idea?
About 25 this year.
All right, so you and Darren seem to be right around the same even amount. Darren probably around 23, around 25. Did you anticipate, Steve, such a close, coming right down to the last minute type deal for this competition season when it started?
Not at all. And we didn't expect to be in it. As the year went along, it looked like maybe we'd be top 10. Then it was top 5. And then Talladega hit, and it's like, wow, we have a chance at this thing.
And that was, for the people that don't know about Talladega, I mean, that was a huge competition, and you really stepped up big and took grand champion. Was it at that point where you knew that it was probably going to be a push from there to the rest of the competition year to see who would be Team of the Year?
You know what I say? Find out what they had to say. You can listen to this complete episode. Head over to thebbqcentralshow.com. There is a link in today's show notes. It will take you to the complete episode. This is a great episode. I got another episode coming out of this episode. Classic stuff from these old days, back to 2008, 2009, 2010 stuff that reappeared. It's absolutely fantastic. Barbecue Central Show gold. Go dig you some up, and then let me know what you want me to do a show for you. What you want me to do a show for you of. And until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I can't wait to talk to you again soon.